to know exactly what my
Right.
in-turn and out-turn is.
Well, I've made a career out of throwing out turns, so I've kind of only needed to know the one.
Nice center guard. It's on. No, it's just the game's on. They're not going in the house and having a clean end. They're probably pretty comfortable with the ice, I would think, after 6 draws here already.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of the men's play. I've been out of town until Wednesday, but anxious to just get the vibe. Clearly, like they're playing the tick shot, the Lisa Wiggle shot, right off the bat, first end, Joe. So that's, is that what you've been seeing all week? Or?
I was only here for one game, so
Okay.
I haven't seen a lot of it.
Oh, it's a corner guard.
Yeah, he's going corner.
I'm sorry, folks. Yeah. Yeah, I was a little surprised at that. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Now, would you want that farther over? Is that a little tight for a corner?
I mean, with this swingy ice, I like it tight to the rings, but I agree it's a little tight to the 4-foot line. But he had a lot of ice. I mean, he had 2 feet of ice outside the center line guard. But I think he's going to be all right with that.
So Phil's going to go around this. Hopefully sit top 4, I would think. So
it's kind of a nice place for that yellow rock, really, Joe, because because it's so tight. I mean, if that center guard does get moved, he can draw around it. But if it doesn't, it's a nice rock to run back into any trouble that they run into in the 4-foot.
we call that
right?
usable, don't we?
Usable.
It's usable.
That's an idea.
Nice
yeah.
word. So just to let you know, on the other sheets, sheet B is between Gibson and O'Leary. Both those teams are at the bottom of the standings, so it's not going to have anything to do with the upper part of the schedule of the standings. Sheet C is Chad Stevens and Kendall. They're both at 4-2, so that game has huge repercussions on what's going to happen today. And on sheet E, we have Brent McDougall, Matt Manuel, and that game is very important to Matt Manuel. He wants to win that because he wants to be at 5-2 as well. So we'll kind of watch those games for you as the afternoon goes on.
Yeah, nice shot on our sheet. And, that tiny bit of roll just meant that the other team can't get the roll, so they have to roll away on this. The ice looks good. I did time some of the draw to the buttons. It was running at least 15 seconds hog to hog, and that's a really nice sliding surface. Players have to keep an eye on whether it's going to stay like that or not. I know that from talking to some of the women, the morning draws have been the most consistent time-wise, as it often is, especially on a keen ice surface. Morning draws are always sort of the best ice conditions, and as the afternoon and evening wear on, they do have to be a little more careful of the paths and what's worn down, and that the times can change as the game goes on. So we'll keep an eye on that.
What would that compare to our club at Mayflower, speed-wise?
Much faster. Yeah,
Really?
I would say Mayflower. Now, I haven't played. I've only have a practice membership this year, so I haven't played games. But from what I can say Mayflower ice is curling more this year than it has other years, and I think it's gotten up to like 14 and a half. Dartmouth has notoriously had quicker ice,
Okay.
than Mayflower in my, decades.
Lakeshore would have the fastest?
I think so. Yeah. I would say that's true. Got to give a shout out to my old home club Windsor. I'm from Windsor. Learned to curl in Windsor, and I'll tell you that ice is notoriously quick as well. Yeah.
I never played there.
Well, it's a great little club. Of course, it burned down
Yeah,
a
so
while ago, and
it made it better.
Oh, it's just such a sad time. But the management that they had at the time was just outstanding.
I played in Berwick last.
Oh yeah.
Oh my, playing in a brand new curling club.
I've heard they've got a beautiful
It's
facility.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Everything's like perfect.
So I've kind of lost track of the last couple shots. I guess they must have had
It looked like they cleared up the front a little bit.
Yeah.
So Jamie tried to get buried. Think about 3/4 this is open.
And I think there's been decent movement on the ice surface all ways. I mean, into the button, it's been enormous. It does seem, though, that they've been able to get in and around corner guards. I found yesterday afternoon that ice somewhere in the middle of anywhere in the 4-foot path was a little more stubborn to curl than out on the edge of the 8-foot. But I think it's been decent curl everywhere, which the players love because you get to play any game, any shot, that you want, any style that you want to play.
The game is more enjoyable when you have lots of curl.
Indeed, yeah.
Although some nights when you go in and they've pebbled the rocks and they've done the ice and you realize you have to go edge of the 12 for the button draw, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this that much.
Yeah.
It's a nice shot there. Well, the center, Stewart's probably going to try to roll behind that corner.
Yeah, I tell you, winning hammer, I know in the years that we've played, we all the teams spent a lot of time and energy on their practice before the game. A lot of the practice is devoted to doing whatever they can to win the draw to the button, to get hammer in a game. It's massive. It really gives you kind of the control point, I call it, right off the bat. So Stewart would be really thrilled to take advantage of his hammer in the first end and score a deuce. Good try there.
It's funny you say that, because at the club level, if I have the hammer in the first end,
Yeah.
I don't care if I give up one.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like, okay, everybody's still learning the ice. We don't get the luxury of a practice.
Yeah.
So giving up one is never, I don't get down on giving up one in the first end.
Right.
But this level, every point is huge,
Yeah.
so I can see that.
And especially at this time in the week, this game is, massive to both of these teams. This is like playing a semifinal game for Jamie, basically. He wins this, he goes to the final. So
Yeah.
for him, it would be looking like a playoff game.
Now, is it more important? What do you think? What's your feeling on this one? Is it an advantage to play that semifinal?
Yeah, that's an age-old question. I think you can make an argument, and we would have always made an argument for whatever position we were in, that's for sure. The team will get to practice, I'm pretty sure. They would have to allow practice time for that team. I was always happy to go to the final and not play the semi if we didn't have to. But you're right, if you actually can play the semi and win, it gives you one extra day of knowing ice conditions. The other thing that you get is it's a single sheet. The semifinal will be a single sheet. It's the only time that you play where the other sheets aren't being used. So that experience in and of itself is valuable.
It changes conditions too, doesn't it?
It changes conditions, and it's also, if there was a young team not used to playing when there's only one sheet in the ice shed. So that is certainly, whereas if you go right out to the final, that would be your first experience on a single sheet. I don't know. Anytime that you're playing a game and you're the only sheet in the ice shed, that's a good thing. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun.
Unless it's a late draw on a Wednesday night club game and you're still stuck on the ice, then it's not so good.
No.
All right. I don't know. I've never been in this situation, but I think it would have to do with how many games you've played up to that point. And this schedule to me doesn't seem like it's a real strenuous schedule.
Right.
Like when you look at other bonspiels, like they're playing 2 games every second day and only 1 game a day.
Right.
Does that play into it, do you think?
Yeah, maybe, but you're not going to find a team out here that's not going to say they wouldn't want that bye to the final.
Yeah.
You're not going to count on another win, so you just make it work. And they will have played, 7 quality games this week, and have a day off. I certainly wouldn't mind that. I'm going to say the biggest advantage might be for a young team, although. These two teams obviously were in the final last year, weren't they, Joe? I think
yes.
This was so they're accustomed to what that feels like in the ice shed, but
as opposed to Matt Manuel, that hasn't been.
if it was a younger team that was playing for a trip to the Briar for the first time, on a single sheet of ice, you might want to come through the semi. I don't know. No team would give up that bye. Well, it's been an interesting, and no one's kind of made that perfect roll, so unless they do now.
This is Stewart's first rock of the end. It's interesting watching this level as to the announcing they did back at the provincials for the juniors.
For the juniors, yeah.
They throw it just as well, right? Excellent skills, but you can tell the experience.
Interesting.
Their calling of the game was not at the same level as what these teams are.
Yeah, what a shot. Right. What a shot there. I love the weight that he threw at that. Okay. Jamie trying to move this or just freeze? I'm going to say
I think he tapped for a freeze.
Yeah, okay. What a great shot.
Because you look at who's leading the women, it's Colleen.
Yeah.
And their skill set probably not the same as what it was when they were winning everything in the 80s.
I'll tell you, their fitness is certainly still
Is
the
that?
same or
Okay.
better.
Is that?
And
Okay.
and I will say, and they work hard.
But they have that
still
experience
work
too, though.
incredibly hard, on their game and on their fitness. But without a doubt, experience is something that is you can't teach.
Yeah.
You can mentor something, a bit, but it really, we used to say you don't know what you don't know. Like
Yeah.
that was one of our favorite, and you don't. And we didn't know what we didn't know when we were first starting out, and it just takes those experiences and situations to build that experience, and you got to have just the absolute crazy love of the sport, which Colleen and Kim both do. Anyway, Jamie is nailing this one.
Yeah,
Great
perfect.
shot. I can't imagine he'd ever be looking at that run back for the blank, do you think?
Do you have to play it this early in the game?
Oh, I don't think so. I think I'd take my one. Well, I don't think there's. Well, maybe there is room to just push that blue rock over the top of the yellow. Maybe in a perfect world with the
Stuart
right
must
weight.
feel it's worth the risk.
Maybe. You'd certainly play it if you needed 2 to tie in the 10th, but
Check with Laurie. Laurie, do you like the call? Coach is indifferent. Yeah, a little tap. He only has to tap at what, maybe
I mean,
6
he's
inches?
probably playing to just tap, and then they can sweep it. He's probably throwing back 4 weight.
Sweepers are in pay attention mode, so it
really
must be
good.
close. Oh, we need some curl. I think he has it. Oh, he bumped it too far.
What a great try.
Yeah,
I
good
don't know
effort.
that was there.
I don't think he was really trying
Yeah.
either. He was just hesitating.
Yeah, that's a confident call, though.
Yeah.
He's feeling good with knowing where to put the brush and what weight to throw on this ice. That's a good sign.
I think it's a boost for him, too. Like,
Oh.
yeah, I made my first shot.
Indeed.
It's not for 2, but I made it. It's nice to get those draws in early as a skip as well.
Oh, for sure.
Nothing worse to hit for 4 ends and then try to throw a draw like in the 5th end.
Yeah.
So just to recap the other games, there's no score up on Sheet B yet. Sheet C, Chad Stevens scored 1, so he's up 1-0 on Kendall. And no score, still in 1 on Sheet E.
Yeah, huge game on Sheet C. The discussion that we had before the game. Well, for both teams, it's a huge game, but Kendall Thompson's team actually has a chance to have a bye to the final if he were to win this game
But Jamie needs to
and
lose.
Jamie were to lose. So if the Thompson boys both win their games, Kendall would get the bye to the final.
That was
based on he beat all the other
based
three
on head-to-heads.
teams. Yeah. It gets more complicated if that scenario doesn't play out because the draw to the button comes into play. But so
Sheet
it's
E,
huge.
Manuel has to win.
Right on.
McDougal
to keep
win.
him in the mix, yeah.
Manuel's eliminated.
Yeah. Well, you don't see any wide open ends anymore, do you, Joe? I mean,
No,
teams very seldom.
I think it's a fan curling. I like that. There's nothing wrong with
100%,
watching teams
yeah, for
peel
sure.
guards.
Yeah.
Even though it's a skill, and it's a very hard skill at the club level, very seldom do I think of trying to peel guards like on a consistent basis.
Sure.
There's
Good
a nice
draw.
shot. Top button.
Yeah, today definitely has a bit of a different feel about it, even than just yesterday being the last day of
Yeah.
the round robin, and it's just
You can kind of feel it a
you
little
can
bit.
see the scenarios are very clear now. It's cool. It's a fun time.
How many Thompsons are in the curling community in HRM? We have the 2 Thompsons on the ice here now. Selena, who's very involved with Mayflower and announcing here. Their dad's president of Halifax, I think, or was at one point.
Is he? Yes, I think he certainly was. Yeah.
Are there any more that I don't know of?
Oh, goodness.
I have to check with Selena. The women had a problem with their draw weight this morning, so I don't know if the guys were running quick this morning or not, but these guys seem to have it
Did they? They did
dialed
on
in
our
already.
sheet. When I say our sheet, I was watching Colleen and Marianne. Marianne got up early in her game, so I was watching a little more of Colleen's game. It was a well-played game. She played Jill Brothers, and the ice was quick, I think. Yeah.
See, a lot of play was at the back of the house in our games.
Oh, is that right?
So it's like, were they just heavy? Did they just not get the feel for that tee line?
Right.
Don't know. Didn't check with them.
So,
I think we're like a little hit here and roll to the center line. Right on the nose. Now Jamie's turn to roll to the center line.
and I'm still learning myself about how how people are using corner guards now, especially with the 5 rock rule, and when people are choosing to go around center guards versus throwing their own corner guard. There's a lot of options with when you have hammer to generate points. Oftentimes in that scenario, if someone throws a center guard, someone might throw a corner guard instead to keep the play away from the forefoot for the whole end. But anyway, I'm just kind of observing what different teams do and with what success.
Now at the club level, the play always seems to go to the middle.
Yeah.
Like you'll see the teams try to get the corner guard up,
Right.
but the other team gets the center guard up and like, okay, all the play switches to the middle.
Right.
Right. So we don't throw behind. It's harder for us to put it behind corner guards because you're not throwing them as much as you're throwing
Right.
stuff to the forefoot. We should, and we try, but it's like it's limited success to see a team get those corner guards up and work at the club level.
For sure. This is a real cat and mouse going on here. I love the weight that Stuart's team is throwing right now. And this looks like about the same weight. I was listening to Katarina and Mary Sue do their broadcast last night, and they were talking about elbow weight and
Elbow weight.
Well, somebody's touching their elbow, right? And that's what they're showing their players.
So elbow weight is what?
Well, they didn't know, so they were timing it. And they're going, what do you think? And so they were timing it, and I think they figured it was around 11 seconds, I think, was elbow weight. And then there was neck weight. I don't think they ever really figured out what that neck weight was, but yeah, it was funny. But anyway, this all looks like about board weight to me that they're using for, which I'm going to say would be what they were timing at elbow weight last night. I'm trying to remember the team that they were commentating for.
Now the basic signals we use at the club level: tap the top of the head, it's peel weight. Hand across his chest, normal. Belly button, control. Tap your hip, board.
Okay.
That's our standards. What we use anyways.
Yeah, we'll see what Jamie does with hammer here. I mean, those, I don't see freezing right back to those, but yeah, move them. Yeah. Don't know if he can leave his blue one around or not. It's not a lot of ice, so he's throwing at least board, probably a little more. Paul Fleming still out there curling with the youngins.
Paul used to bug me at the last job because Paul runs Harbor Fish and Fries down in
Right on.
Musquodoboit, so he was a customer of ours in the wholesale business.
Okay.
He bugged me for years. Joe, you got to start curling. You got to
Oh,
start
is
curling.
that right?
Yeah,
So does he still have that business?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's open in the winter though.
No, I don't think it is.
I think it's just a
Yeah.
summer thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
Makes for a good curling schedule,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
And I wonder if his son Sean was curling as well at one point. I think it's Sean and Jake are his two boys. Jake's in the juniors right now. Oh, okay.
With Regal
Okay,
or
with
with
PEI.
PEI?
Bruce Lonis is just telling me that Jake's curling for PEI right now. Is he going to school over there, Bruce? Yeah, okay. The answer was yes there. Yeah, it's exciting. The junior, I don't know the exact results. I know the women's Nova Scotia team is doing well, and the women are in the semifinals, and the men are, we're not sure, but I heard they were doing,
I think that's a bad. They
made the championship round. Well, that's huge, though.
Yeah. So top
It's
half.
huge for seeding for next year as well, yeah.
I think the semifinals on TSN tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Semifinal in TSN tomorrow night. Boy, the Nova Scotia junior women have really been a pretty
They're like a powerhouse, aren't they?
consistent- Yeah.
Why?
So exciting. Well, I think that there's momentum in seeing people win, and I think that Mary Fay and her team, showed people they could do it.
Okay.
And I think that there's fuel in that. I think.
But
that
even at the senior level too, not just the juniors. You look at Colleen and the run you guys went
we
on.
have a very
We're always
very
strong in the women's, but the
high-
men's not been excited. Other than Mark Dacey,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be strong at the Marks level, at the men's level.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard. It takes an enormous amount of commitment and single-minded focus, which is pretty hard to do when you're in your wherever you are, 30s or 40s or whatever curling. We were a little older when we did our run, but it's hard, and it's even harder now to dedicate the amount of every aspect of finances, of energy, of just the whole theme. It becomes the theme for your whole family,
Yeah.
when you curl at a certain level. So, and it's hard to transfer junior success into Scotty's and Briar's success. It's hard for a 22 to 27-year-old who's just starting their life,
Trying to
starting their
establish a
career,
job.
trying to establish a job. Might have a relationship at home. You can't even get the time off a new job, to participate in the competitions that you need to in order to get great. So it's and it's getting harder and harder.
So Murphy made a lovely hit
Did
there.
he ever?
It's dead frozen.
Yeah, so Stuart can't remove this. I think he's just trying to hit it and sit right in front of it. This is a hard shot.
Is he going? No, he's not looking for the roll.
Very nice. He's not shot, but that's okay.
So just watching the other sheets, on sheet E, McDougall went up 3-0 after the first end.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's...
Throws a wrench into things, doesn't it? Yeah, so Jamie's got a decision to make here. I mean, you jiggle that, you don't really want to leave them shot, but you want to give yourself a chance for two. You can't ignore it. You wouldn't guard it, because then they just come around everything and sit on them, so.
Jiggle it up a little bit.
I think jiggle it, try to hold on to your blue one.
Back 8 for the blue at the
Yeah,
most.
just keep it in the ring somewhere, and hopefully Stuart's next rock will set up an angle that he can get rid of two yellows.
I wonder if Team Manuel's feeling a little pressure today. They get a chance to go to the final. They're a younger team.
Yeah. Is this a foursome that has played together a previous year? Do you know, Joe, the Manuel team?
A few of them have.
Yeah.
I think he's been with his third for a time frame. They played
Yes.
Canada games together, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah,
But
no,
they've
Luke,
gone-
I know Luke, this would be Luke's first year, I think, with them for sure.
Yeah, and Taylor is filling in for somebody.
Okay.
Their lead. But he's one of our ice makers at the club now.
Yes, I know Taylor. He
Yeah.
works at the Mayflower,
Yeah.
also
So
coaching Joe Brothers' team.
yeah, so I think he's just sparing this week. That's what I was told. We could check our
Right
binder.
on. That is a great shot.
Yeah.
He still stayed shot.
Just as we called it, Nancy.
Yeah, set up an angle that he can get rid of the yellow now. I think Stewart's going to be forced to the outturn draw. I don't see anything else.
Yes, Jeff Wilson is the regular lead for Team Manual.
Well, and Matt's in a bit of a pickle over there himself. This end as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Brent's sitting top button, and bite in the back forefoot.
And guarding the whole,
And
and they're all on
guarding it
the
all.
center line, and he's thrown a guard on all 3 rocks. Matt only has 1 rock to come. Okay, he's hitting here. Well, I don't see. Is he just going to give him a draw for 2, Joe?
Well, he's going to sit, if he hits it on the nose, he's going to sit top 8. Yeah, probably just draw. That or he wants a little roll in. I
Probably
don't
just
think
trying to
that's
pick
risky.
it for starters. And then just leave him the draw, I guess.
No, just picking. Well, he picked one, but I don't think it was one he was planning
I don't
on.
think that's what he was playing, but I think at the end of the day he was going to leave him a draw for 2. Just did it in a bit of a different way.
So Brent is playing a guard. He needs to get this on the center line. He's got to curl a little bit.
Joe's back over on Sheedy.
On Sheedy. That's why I'm a
Yeah.
terrible announcer,
Yeah.
because I'm watching every other game except the one I'm supposed to be watching. I can't watch curling live at at Scotiabank or anything like that. 'Cause
No,
I'm just too
you're too
distracted.
distracted.
I'm always looking at the wrong sheet.
Yeah.
I think that does the job for him on sheet E. I'll find out in a sec. Keep you posted on that.
I don't see how Manuel can score 1, or can he get any? He might be able to get enough of that on the outturn to push them back. Anyway, back to our sheet. A nice score of 2
Nice deuce.
for Jamie Murphy. You know, pretty well executed. And the difference was that shot, Jamie's first shot, was when he just nudged it
Yeah.
back and made the jiggle and put Shot Rock in a position that couldn't be accessed. So, good end.
Good call by us too, because we called that shot.
Well, kind of.
You know,
yeah.
we're experts behind the glass.
Oh, super duper.
Yeah.
I wish you guys at home could see this mess on sheet E. I mean, you're down 3 already, and you're looking at 3 guarded. Oh, there's a shot. The run-in.
That is the
Yeah.
shot, but
Yeah.
isn't the other yellow
I
the
think
better
it's
option?
just jamming.
Because this still gives him 1
Yeah,
if he makes it.
yeah.
Whereas if he played the other one, he could score 1. It's that risk-reward thing. Phil Kroll throwing up a center guard on our sheet, the one we're supposed to be watching.
Yeah, so as a career lead, I'm really picky about lead shots. And,
Where do you want this?
I want this tight. Like I've got right
Within
now,
a
I've
foot?
scored 2. Yeah, within a foot. I've scored 2. Anything within 4 feet is in the range of acceptable. If anything halfway or higher, I would rather have thrown the rock through the house. The long guard is the kiss of death, except when you're trying to steal, you know, in the 10th end or whatever. But that's a perfect shot right there.
It's interesting at the club level too, because you have leads that start, and the new curlers, and they think they're playing lead because it's the easy position and stuff like that. The shots are just as important as the skip shots. You know?
Well, they are, and I said yesterday afternoon when I was working with Jim Nix, as a lead, I always said I can't win a game. I can never, my shots, no matter how well I play, I cannot win a game for my team, but I sure as heck can lose it, and have.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It's
and
huge.
I have lost a game for my team before because of a shot that I made early in the end. So
It's where you
I value my position, and I'm quite, you know, I worked hard to make sure I knew, you know, what the do's and don'ts were, and I try to pass that on to other leads. Yeah, you just take pride in your position for sure. Back on sheet E, Matt made really, I think he did about as well as he could. He did run a corner guard back into that pile on the 4-foot and just gave up a single point. Down 4, but he could have been down 6. So
Nice shot.
yeah. And you know, anything can happen. Marianne Arsenault was down 4 last night and came back to win her game.
It's good to see you paying attention to other sheets too. It's not just me.
Yeah. Well, that one you couldn't keep your eyes off.
So they've got the corner guard up. And
Yeah, so this time, same as I was mentioning last time, you know, the theory when you have hammer, whether you're going to, you know, fight amongst yourselves on the 4-foot to get your deuce, you know, Stewart elected to throw the corner guard instead of coming around the tight center.
Oh, that's not what they wanted.
Yeah,
Oh, they got a little
it's
bit of
not awful. At least he bounced off. It's a tight guard. It's not awful.
Something to work with. Colleen Jones did a workshop with us at the club a few years ago.
What's that?
Colleen did a workshop with us at the club.
Oh, did
And she always
Yeah.
talked about owning that top area.
For sure, yeah.
You want
for
your
sure.
rocks there, not the other team's
Yeah.
rocks there. Even though they're not counting, they're always usable.
Well, and especially early in the end. I mean, we're still on lead. Well, we just moved into the first of the second stones, but
Update on sheet C. Steven scored another one in the second end, so he's up 2-0, playing in the third.
just nudged it. Again, not the worst thing. Although, because he's in the rings, Stewart can make contact. Oh, maybe he's going to play the run back anyway. I was going to say you can hit that blue one and be in the rings, and so then that makes trouble for Jamie. You know, the women and the men they definitely play differently.
Seems more of a power game at the men's level. Is it?
Well,
am I correct there?
they can physically throw more weight for sure. Yeah. But I know our team right now would be hitting that blue one to make things, probably hitting and rolling. You know, to sit second shot, you might even catch the back one. And we would expect the other team to then have to deal with it. But Jamie's just going to replace that, but Stewart's got a lot of yellow out in front.
So if Mary Sue Radford is watching today, Alan does have the hood up. The hood is up.
I heard about gangster hood.
Yeah, the gangster hood.
Yeah.
It's the same green one
Susan,
too.
you better not be watching. You're supposed to be working.
So it's not as important. Remember I said the first guard needed to be super tight? Not as important right now. Like that's a great shot.
And he doesn't want to be deep because it makes the run back easier.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be playing that all day right there. Yeah. And of course, I mean, as people might know, I come from the Colleen Jones School of Strategy and Gameplay, but it was a winning strategy and gameplay, and I tend to lean to keeping things simple, not to the extent where you're not allowing yourself to score points at all, but you don't always have to look for the most complicated shot. And we would always say as well, it's often if you look back on a game or an end and what the critical point was, people always look to the skip's last rocks. Say, oh,
Yeah.
missed their last rock,
Yeah.
or just missed that angle raised by a whisker. inevitably you can look somewhere back in that end and see that all it was a hit and stick by somebody. That person, they hit and rolled out, so that gave them a chance to draw around, or they hit and rolled to the meat and potato shot of a hit and stick can often be the most valuable shot of an end or a game, and we proved that to be true over and over as we would look back over a game and realize that it wasn't that complicated skips rock. It was really a rock earlier in the end that made it all so tough. Yeah.
The odds aren't good if your skip's playing all these circus shots either.
Oh, true.
It's like
yeah,
you want your.
yeah.
I know as a skip, I want to throw guards.
Yeah.
I throw my guards. Everybody else has done their job.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they can access this now the way that the ice surface is given some curl. So I think they can get at that back button stone.
What, with like a hack weight?
Yeah, if that. They don't have to remove it. They have hammer. So in this situation, my theory is if I have hammer, I'm okay to leave those blues around. If I don't have hammer, I'm going to want to push it through the rings because I don't want to leave a chance of that blue going on the board. But with hammer, if he were playing this tap back, I'm okay to leave it back there somewhere.
Little chat with Colton. Too late to run that guard, or now the time to take advantage because you do have some access to that one in the back four.
You know what? They seem to like to run the guard. They've certainly played it a couple times. They should know the ice. I don't mind it. The thing is, with the draw around to the button, you're pushing that back. If you make it perfect, you're leaving Jamie no choice but to follow you down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're kind of possibly just playing for 1 point. Here they go, though. We'll see how it plays out.
They just want a little tap
I mean,
on this.
if you can run that back and make it, for sure, I love it.
It's always the right shot if you make it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what curling's all about.
But it's a lot of distance between those two stones. I think the team was happy with this trade. This was Stewart's first instinct, I think. I like the call.
Most of the times it's the right call, isn't it? Like you look at something, your first instinct.
Your first instinct, yeah.
Did that pick? No, you thought.
No, he didn't curl enough, didn't get past the corner guard. But again, he's in for second shot. Jamie has to deal with that.
So Jamie tapped his wrist. I'm thinking this is probably what, a board weight?
Wrist weight.
Wrist weight.
Mary Sue.
Mary Sue's
Yeah.
wrist weight. I'm going to guess that that's board.
Well, I guess the players and the team are the only ones that really have to know what
It's a
it means,
secret code.
right? It would be interesting to ask the players after the game individually, what does wrist weight mean, and see if you got the same answer.
I have to talk to Brent, find out what number 42 means. Why did he pick 42
Oh, yeah.
or 32? Whatever the number
Okay.
is on the back of his jacket, Mary Sue was like, why did he pick that? I don't know.
Yeah, Stewart would dearly love a nice shot here to turn this end around for him. He's not in big trouble, but he could certainly take control of the end here. Perfect shot would be this double and roll behind the corner guard. Not a lot of weight, though. Maybe he elected to roll in.
I'm saying with that line, he's going for the inside roll.
Yeah. I like the roll to the corner guard myself, but yeah. Good shot. I do love the hit weight that all of these guys are throwing, though, Joe. It's just that, it looks like it's about 11 second. I haven't timed it. Weight, and it's so on a nice, quick sliding surface. It's so easy to control.
That's about a control. It's about a control.
Oh yeah, the sweepers have more input on what's going to happen to the rock. And you're more apt to stay around, you know, like you don't have to hit as much of the stone in order to stay in the rings. And
When
love
should
the
you
weight.
throw normal?
What do you think normal? What would you consider normal weight to be?
I would consider, well, I don't do times, but I would consider it something that would stop about close to 7 to 8 feet if it went by the boards.
Okay, so
Right.
that's not even 10. Like normal to these guys, I'm going to say would be about 10 seconds, which
Okay.
would definitely go further than that. Like it would. We used to 9.5 used to be our normal, and then 10-second was our control. And I'm going to say depends on the ice surface, but on a nice quick ice surface, basically 10 seconds would be normal. And when I said 10 seconds, that's time from hog to hog. I haven't seen the 10-second hit yet. I mean, these guys are all throwing what looks like about board weight. And they can do that. The ice isn't curling like crazy, so they can do that as well. Sometimes we have found on ice surfaces we've had to keep our weight out because it was the most predictable way to put the broom down. Because anytime you brought the weight, you know, especially actually at arenas and early in an event, arenas, if you brought your weight down from sort of a good sort of firm normal, the rock could really curl a lot more quickly. So we found it easier to broom with a heavier weight, knowing that the rock would not take the curl so quickly. So Stuart still would love to generate a deuce here. So he doesn't want to be, I don't think, want to be right back to that blue rock. Otherwise, Jamie can just follow him down. The ideal shot would be just biting the top of the button, being shot rock.
Buried. Is buried necessary here?
Hey, just a piece. I mean, you've got protection from the center guard. You also have protection from that rock at the back of the button. So
I like to call that the reverse guard.
yeah. It's protection. Yeah.
Oh, it's just a draw.
I know if I'm down in the last end and they're putting stuff at the back of the house, it's
Yeah.
like, throw your boots.
Yeah. Yeah, top button. The thing is, you know, he can make this perfectly, and then Jamie follows him down, and sadly he's going to be forced to one anyway, but shots have to be made. And they were sweeping that not so much for weight, but they were sweeping it to bring it over, so. It's a good shot. Jamie definitely has to move it to B shot. He's going to play weight at it.
The one-person sweeping's kind of been a great innovation to the game over the last, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, sorry?
So based on the directional sweeping, the one-person
Yeah.
sweeping, it's a whole, it's been a real moving target. I think it's certainly settled down now. Did you ever happen, I mentioned this yesterday's broadcast as well, there was a video that Brad Gushu did. I think it might still be out there on YouTube, about the effect of, this was when the old surfaces that you were allowed to have that other fabric on the brooms, and he did a video of what difference sweeping could make.
Yeah.
You should look it up if you haven't seen it.
I've seen
It
that.
is phenomenal. I think Jeff Walker was throwing the rocks, and they were just sort of commentating. Oh, Jamie, it's going to overcurl.
Stuart's
Got it. You got it. What a nice shot.
Stuart.
Oh, thank you, sweepers.
We
Yeah.
actually were downtown one night having supper, and we were going back for the Dave Jones, and Brad Gushu's team was sitting at the table next to us.
Yeah.
Brad wasn't there, but it was Mark Nichols, the other two, I can't think of their names right now.
Brent
Anyhow,
Plant and Jeff
Brent.
Walker. Yeah.
Right. So anyhow, we went up, we was like, well, let's chat, because they'd seen us around the club, so they kind of knew us. Anyhow, we asked us, like, should we be one person sweeping at the club level?
Right.
Is there something we should be concerned
Right.
with at our level? They were like, by all means, yes.
Okay.
So we've been trying it for the last 4 years. It's
Interesting.
fine when you have your regular team there,
Yeah.
but when you bring in a spare that has no idea what's going on,
Yeah.
and you start yelling their name, and they just kind of look at you. Oh,
And
you're
you
yelling
know,
my
and
name.
it depends on ice conditions. I would put forth the argument that I'm not so sure that a Wednesday night 8:30 draw
At Mayflower.
is going to really be that effective with the directional sweeping, but we've definitely seen it make a difference, you know, in our games. Nothing like when I was explaining that video. They've changed the fabric on brushes, so they, you know, that's not the effect anymore, but it certainly has changed the collection of sweeping.
It's a nice shot by Stewart.
Yeah, beauty.
Take his
Man,
one.
he throws with confidence. Well done.
All tied after 3 ends.
Yeah, a funny little anecdote. So Brett Gallant, who plays
Second.
Brent Gallant,
Yeah.
plays second for Brad. And I don't remember what event we were at, but he was there as well. So what would that have ever been? Or maybe he was. Anyway, he sent us a picture. He was our flag bearer in 1999 when we were at Scotty's
That must
in
have been PEI, yeah,
Charlottetown.
okay.
In PEI, and that was our very first national win. And this little guy, like this little scrawny, you know, I don't know how old he would have been, but it would have been in 1999. So do the math, however old he is now. And he sent us this picture. I didn't recall at the time, of course, that he had been our flag bearer, but it's a pretty cool. It was a pretty cool photo.
Is he living in Newfoundland? He lives in Newfoundland.
Yes, I believe he does.
And
yeah.
Jeff Walker?
Jeff, I don't know. I don't know if he lives there.
No.
I'm going to say not.
I'm getting 2 head shakes from the coaches.
I shouldn't, you know, one of my rules, if you don't know, just say you don't know. So
Well, ask
I'm
the
going to
coaches.
say I don't know. Okay.
Where does he live, Lori?
Where does Alberta?
Alberta.
Yeah. Well, I know
Okay.
so his wife's from Alberta, so, and he's from Alberta too, right? Yeah.
So that is the rule. You can have 1 import now, or you can have 2?
Yeah. Yeah.
1.
But not in the seniors. We got to change that.
Seniors, you have to have all.
You have to have all 4. Yeah, and I mean, we're playing, our old foursome is playing together again this year, calling Kim, Marianne, and myself. But Marianne's moving to BC after curling season this year. So unless we can convince the people in charge to change that up, that'll
It would be really bizarre to see Marianne Arsenault in BC colors.
I know, and,
I don't think I could handle that.
To me, that is almost an example. It's an example of why you would want to have a rule like that, to allow a team that has played together for so many years to continue to play together. You know. Anyway, I digress. So back to this game, we had a hogged rock, first yellow rock. Too darn bad. That's never fun as a lead.
No. Stewart's coming around.
And then a half decent blue corner guard. I would think he's looking for it out front here, but
Update from the game on sheet C. Chad Stevens scored 3 in the third to go up 3-2 on, or Kendall Thompson scored 3 to go up 3-2 on Chad Stevens.
you know what? He must have been coming in there. I guess he thinks he can grab full 4 foot and.
So this is Paul trying to make this curl.
Showing the directional sweeping.
Is that the ideal position where we want to
Yeah, I
be
think he was
that far
pretty
over?
much right where he needed to be, and it's also the brush used to be illegal. You were never allowed to do
Corner brushing.
to have your brush go, parallel to the front of the stone. It always had to be sort of so that the long side of the brush had to be facing up the sheet. Now they basically have the width of the brush in front of the stone. That was never used to be allowed.
The same with plowing. You can snow plow pretty
Well,
well.
it's
can't
kind
you?
of the snow plow. That is the snow plow position. And it's all about scratching the ice surface sort of in the direction that you want the rock to go. So a little more wide open end.
Well, we have a few spectators out in the bleachers here today.
All very
All
few.
3 of them. 3 of them. Well, that's a few. There's more than this
There'll be
morning.
people out there on the weekend for sure. There's more and more people as the draw goes on, and
So we do have another draw tonight. The ladies are back on the ice at 7 o'clock tonight. It's a huge game.
yeah, there's 2 huge games going on tonight in the ladies.
Little history in one of the games with Colleen Jones playing Marianne Arsenault. That game is for first place. And then it's Teresa Breen and Tanya Hilliard. No, brothers.
Jill Brothers and Tanya Hilliard playing off, and they could end up
Tie.
in a tie break, or if Jill wins, then she gets third place, I believe, on her
No,
own.
I think it's the other way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Jill's already got 2 losses. No, 3. Okay. Our coaches next door
expert,
are really
expert.
helping us there. Okay.
She could be our stats person. We'll call Lori our
I'm
stats
gonna give
person
you
for
the
us.
headset.
Right.
Yeah. That's right. I knew that because I knew Jill lost this morning. Yeah, so
Yeah, Jill lost to
if-
Colleen this
if-
morning.
Right. So if Tanya wins, Jill's out. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was a great game. I did watch that game between Jill and Kim and Colleen this morning. I don't know what to call that team, Kim and Colleen. Kim's throwing hammer, but I mean, it's always Colleen's team to me.
That was a nice shot. Almost
Very nice.
completely buried.
They must have got a hit and roll out, did they? I wasn't watching.
I don't know. We were talking again.
Yeah. Again, one of those situations, if that is what happened, just a hit and stay doesn't allow him to do that, you know?
Interesting what's going on at E right now. Brent has 3 in the house. And Matt's basically ignoring him and trying to play that corner game on the right-hand side of the sheet.
And 4th and what happened? Oh, they blanked the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's a
nice
great shot. Make it look easy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, as a club curler, it's like, my God, those are hard.
Yeah, they are. They really
know?
are, yeah.
Although I made one for the win Monday night. Felt very good
Oh,
about that.
fun.
Wasn't quite that length, but it was run back.
And being able to throw that kind of weight takes the guesswork out of brooming, because the rock is not going to curl at all, basically, coming down the rock, so it's easier to put the broom down. But there's not many players that can throw that kind of weight.
See, now at the club level, the issue's the handle.
Pardon me?
The issue's the handle. Club curlers
Right
don't
on,
tend to put
yeah.
that strong handle on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I've just been really working since the new year. Put that strong handle on,
Yeah.
and you could trust your broom and not have to give yourself as much ice because the rock's not going to move as much on you.
Another
'Cause-
beautiful shot here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great shot. Nice movement in the ice there. No, that's right. Definitely, you can throw a rock. They both look like they're on the broom, and you can have a rock curl 2 feet more.
Oh, yeah.
Based on handle. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really concentrating on putting that really positive handle on. I actually had a chat with somebody that he was a competitive curler that played Wednesday night at the club, and he talked about how difficult it was to skip at the club level,
Right.
coming back, because every release is different at the
Oh,
club
for
level.
sure.
Well, these guys try to mimic each other. Like
For
everybody
sure.
has the same release, so they know what the rock's going to
Yeah.
do in each pass. I'm sure there's little variances.
Yes. No, not this time. Yeah, no, everyone has their tendencies. I mean, even at this level, they would know each other's tendencies.
You've already said that you made a career on out turns?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Colleen was an out-turn player, right?
Was she?
So, yeah. I mean, that's tongue-in-cheek, because certainly we played both turns and happy to play either turn. But if you looked at the stats of our team, out-turns to in-turns, it would be 75+% out-turns, yeah.
I gotta think about my wife. My wife is left-handed. She's in-turn.
Is
My
that
wife
right?
loves the in-turn.
There you go. Marianne always actually preferred the in. I don't know what now, but back then, but it was 3 against 1, so too bad for her.
And she was the youngest too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
She was the baby on
still
the
is
team.
the youngest. Darn thing.
Yeah, it doesn't change a lot though. Once your age is set,
Yeah.
Nancy,
Yeah, I know.
it doesn't change.
Kept thinking she
If you're the
catch up to
youngest,
us.
you're pretty
Yeah.
well. You're never going to be the oldest on that team.
Oh. Jeez. I've had my turn being the oldest.
So, are there any big events for you this year, seniors?
Well, just the seniors, yeah. So my team gives me permission to kind of curl only half time pretty much. And Colleen and Kim, of course, are playing in the regular Scotties, as is Marianne. And they love it. I mean, they love the process, and they truly want to go. Of course, Marianne's team does, and Colleen and Kim's team as well want to go to another Tournament of Hearts, another Scotties. To be honest, I don't have that will or wish or want to play against the 25-year-olds anymore.
Yeah.
But I still would love to compete at seniors. So I've thrown a lot, and intend to be ready for them when they're finished with this event. And there's the senior competition. There's so much good competition. We see, if we can get through Nova Scotia, which, as we discussed before, is a really competitive province. The teams that you're seeing at the national these days are the teams that we played back in our Scotties era. The Kathy Kings and the Sherry Andersons and the Sherry Madaws, and so.
Is the senior level a higher level than it was 20 years ago?
Oh my goodness, I think so.
I don't know, because I've never been
I think so.
played it, never been in touch with it.
I think so.
But it seems like the names you see playing seniors, like, oh wow.
Certainly at the national level, it was top competition. I mean, would be, against, well, there'd be a good 6 teams that could win a national title. I must say, when we did win the seniors a couple of years ago, went to a world championship in Lethbridge, and the world still has not kind of gained the quality, I wouldn't say. There was still like the Jackie Lockharts, we played Jackie Lockhart, and but some of the other countries had not sort of established quality senior play yet. So, but at a national level, it's pretty darn tough.
Is that because the curlers at this level tend to be in a better condition than what they used to be back in the day?
That may be true. That may be true. That's a good question. It'd be interesting to talk to, I don't know, someone that that did play seniors 20 years ago. Well, I'll tell you this, and what I've learned from being to a couple of national seniors, you don't get the people who were successful in men's national play, like in Briar play. They don't play seniors. Like, you don't have this Jeff Stoutons and the Randy Furbies. Now, I have seen Al Hackner at a senior. I saw Ed Lukwich at a senior, but he was the one to say they won't play because there's no money in it. Was his comment. So the women tend, all of the women that I know Cheryl Bernard is playing this year. Lainey Peters, I know, is playing with Cheryl out of Alberta. So all of those old, Scotties winners are playing. You don't see it you don't see it in the men's side. Like, you'll never see Kevin Martin, I don't think, playing the seniors. I don't think, yeah.
So in our game, which you guys are probably paying closer attention to than we are right now, Jamie's just got a free draw to score 2.
Yeah, and it all came from Paul's nice come around that second time around the corner guard missed run back, and
always a good scenario where you're scoring team 2 with your hammer.
Indeed.
And the only teams other than scoring 1, so.
Indeed. Nice deuce.
Yeah.
Kind of a bonus in the even ends. They'll start watching which ends they score in, I think, over the next couple of ends.
Colleen stressed that you always want to score, well, if you're playing 8 ends, you want to score in 6.
Yeah.
If you're playing 10, you want to score in 8.
Exactly. And it's funny because they had that scenario this morning where they possibly could have blanked 8. It was tricky, but I thought they should take 1 to go up 1. And I've always liked that as well. To me, you have control of the game, because even if you're obviously trying to force them to 1 and 9, but even if you give them 2, you've got hammer coming down, just 1 down, which isn't a terrible position. Anyway, people feel differently about that. I like scoring an 8 for sure. So Stuart's got a 2-point deficit. Fifth end, yeah, so Murphy's got a deuce with both of his hammers, so it's given him a 2-point lead. And I expect this was called top 4. I didn't see the call, but 2 up, I don't think Jamie would throw a guard 2 up, but I'm not sure.
Just reviewing the other sheets right now, we have a blank fest going on sheet B. Still 1-0, and they're playing in the 5th end. Sheet C, Chad is still up 3. Kendall is still up 3-2. They're playing in the fifth end. Sheet E, our other game that we're kind of paying too much attention to. Brent is up 4-0. And they're playing in the 4th end.
And they're just down to Skips Rocks over there. That really is a hard game not to keep your eye. You've got to keep your eyes off of that because there's a lot going on in the 4-foot over there. So Jamie's choosing to choke this corner. Interesting call, but I'm sure that's his strategy in this situation.
So does he want to fully bury here, or is it half buried?
I wouldn't think, yeah, no, and you definitely don't. You want to be no deeper than top 8, and even out front. You're just, so I call it choking the corner, which you're trying to take the corner guard away from them. Okay. Ideally, it's just like a sort of a biter or a full 12-foot half buried, and then all of a sudden that corner guard's not terribly useful to them.
Okay, so that's not a bad result then.
Not too bad. It's a little far out. It's probably a good 3 feet out. So it was a little light for sure. If I were Jamie, I would rather, if it's going to be out front, I'd rather it be on the center line, although that's not what he called. So did Stewart choose to just draw around here, or is he trying to move that back one?
I think it's coming around.
I like the straight come around myself.
Not going to say what I was doing, but Matt's playing, looks like a double here.
Oh, I missed that last shot.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the double. Yeah, so this was just a straight draw on our sheet. Yep. Great
nice
call.
shot.
I mean, coming to the back one really would have been a waste.
You even got a thumbs up from Lori.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were paying attention to her, but they get a thumbs up. Oh, I don't think Matt wanted that.
And now it's another scenario where if you've got hammer versus not having hammer. If Stewart didn't have hammer right now, I would not like that call. If I didn't have hammer, if blue had hammer, you'd have to come down to that back one or tap that back one. But with hammer, you're okay to leave some blue rocks in the house, basically. Okay. It's kind of what I said before.
Looks like it's over curling.
Yeah, I think he was playing the run back originally and then realized he wasn't going to get it, so. And that back blue rock is still a factor because anything around either of those corner guards will not outcount that blue one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did look at going around that far.
Yeah, trying the split. Oh, I find those never work. You just send, I don't know.
Well, you know he's going to make it now.
Shot,
he's going to make it now.
We always said anything. Well, that's it. He'll probably make it. But you have to be committed to throwing more than draw weight on it. Otherwise, you're just going to leave a double.
So he's trying to bump this yellow, sit on top of it, and roll his behind the shooter. That's a nice result.
That's a pistol, yeah. Probably move the other yellow a little further than he wanted, but he's got protection from the back blue a bit. Sort of. Maybe not.
Would he be trying the double here, or is it too flat? He just wants a roll here.
I think he's just looking to cozy up to the, just a hit and roll.
So sheet E, Matt Manuel's drawing for his single.
Although he's got a lot of weight, he probably was trying that double. Was he, Laurie? Do you think he was throwing the double? Yeah, he was throwing the double. Worked out okay. He's got a lot of protection, although he left the other yellow in the rock. He's happy to be protected.
So Stuart wants to come corner freeze on
I
that.
think so, yeah. He'll
a
need
shot.
to be shot or want to be shot. That was a great shot, really.
And Matt Manuel made his draw on sheet E, so it is now 4-1, and they're going into the fifth end. Brett McNeil leading that.
So Manuel is currently at 2 losses. So if he loses this,
He's
chances
out.
are he's out. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
Because
3
nobody-
losses.
Okay, right. So such a big game there.
Check with the coach. 3 losses is going to get you into the playoffs? Okay.
Oh, trust me, I'm taking it all.
So Stewart just nudged the guard there. That's too bad. Jamie's going to put more pressure on here by lobbing another blue guy in there.
If Manuel, Kendall, and Stewart all lose, they're all at 4 and 3.
Okay, so 3 is still in the picture.
So Murphy and Stevens will be final and semi-final.
Okay.
One of those 3.
Okay.
Am I correct on that, Laura? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, I guess there's only 3 teams that have been eliminated out of the 8 at this point.
Correct. Both teams on sheet B and Brent
Right
on.
on.
sheet E.
Right. That's a great shot. You can probably see a run back here from Stewart. Unless, yeah. No, he can see enough of it to sort of move it, I guess.
Kind of tap back 8.
Yeah.
I'll wait on this.
I'm not quite behind the sheet, so from my angle, it looks like it's sunk buried, but it must not be. No, I can see on the screen.
Looks like a skinny half you can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, so if he can push this back, just sort of back 8 weight, you could leave it where both of those blue rocks provided some protection behind your yellow rock. So
Reverse guards.
reverse
Reverse
guards.
guards.
That's right. I've never heard that
It's a term of the
expression
day.
before.
It's mine. You can use
I
it.
try to remember it. I can't guarantee.
I think it's a little heavy.
Trying to get some curl out of this. Yeah.
Got more weight than you
Disappointing.
wanted.
Just a bit, yeah. Jamie's not going to be thrilled that there are 2 yellows in the rings right now. But any run back attempt would, as one of those blues would jam on that side yellow, I think. So
Maybe
I think
not
he's
on
just-
the far left guard.
yeah,
It might be better angle on that.
I think he's
It's
just
hard
going
to
to
tell.
keep lobbing the blues in. Seems like a good plan to me.
Yeah, if he doesn't go there now, Stewart's going there on the next one.
Yeah, I don't see an option for Jamie, really. Certainly, it's not going to go the open side. He just leaves that shot for, yeah, no, he needs to come in here. And he doesn't need to even anything half buried in front of that other blue rock.
Oh, no, I can't. I already had drinks in. Oh, I can drink.
Oh, looks like it's perfect.
Paul's made some great draws already. Nice shot, Paul.
Now, you notice the broom that Paul throws with? It's one of the old school's
Oh, yeah.
heads that doesn't swivel.
Like,
I throw-
is it one of those old, like, club brooms? Or is it a brush?
No, it's an old broom. It's the old
That old...
material, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I deliver with something similar to that.
Do you? Yeah.
I find it more stable,
Right on.
right, as to the new brooms with the swivel
Well, there's
heads.
still a lot. I think Jennifer Jones still throws with a brush. I think Marianne still throws with a brush.
Does she?
I think, yeah. And I get it. I mean, it does have more substance, and
Just a feel thing for me.
Definitely. I get it, yeah.
It just feels more stable out there.
Yeah.
Not that I'm putting any weight on it. Just
yeah.
to me, it feels more stable. I think mine's newer than Paul's, so.
And as everybody probably knows, watching, you're allowed to throw
With a different device.
with a different device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Sue and I got into the stabilizers and the crutch debate.
Oh, yeah.
Because my wife uses one.
Yeah.
And if I
And
call
what
it a
was-
crutch, I get in trouble.
Oh.
It's a stabilizer.
Well, see, there was a brand name crutch.
Was there?
There
Okay.
was kind of like a windsurfer. You know, they're not windsurfer's a brand name.
Okay.
Sailboard is anyway. No, I get you.
So which one is the crutch?
It's not.
What's it look like?
It's not Earl Morris's one. The was sort of the original one. I don't know if I could explain it to you. I don't think, or is Earl Morris's the crutch? I should know because he used to give them to me. Anyway, I am a crutch user, and I now, at the age of 61, will not be changing my ways. But in some regards, if I was coaching and helping a junior team, I would steer them away from it. I really would. I think that you have to establish a bit more of a stable delivery without the crutch, and also it's a pain in the neck to maneuver, like when you're out in a game, and it still is. Now, when Colleen and I both used the stabilizers, it was okay because there was two of us and we had one at each end. But Colleen's gone back to throwing with a broom now, so
it doesn't work for me because I'm too tall.
Okay.
Right. I'd have to get like an extended stabilizer.
Yeah, I do. I must say, for beginners, it's great. You know, like I see people that are just coming out, you know, having rental ice or whatever at the Mayflower. It's so nice. It definitely makes the delivery a little easier for someone that hasn't played before. So he's going after this, as opposed to.
Oh, get by.
Did he touch it?
Nope.
No. Okay. What a shot is right.
Opened it up for him.
Yeah, now I wonder if Jamie's going to try to stay right there, if he's going to try to roll over to be in block, because right now that other blue is behind the tee.
Is the double a bad thing right here? Sit right there, take out that back yellow?
Yeah, no, not a bad thing. Not necessary, I think, with only 2 rocks to go. But, you know, that's probably what he's playing, Joe, and just saying, okay, Stuart, you're going to have to do something. It's going to be hard for you to put something somewhere that I can't either freeze to or get rid of, so.
Because if he did play the roll, wouldn't it be the opportunity for a double?
Not if he buried a piece, right?
Okay. Although Jamie is set.
And you wouldn't want to roll and be behind the tee line, but I think he could roll and still be in front of the tee. He's looking for the double.
Yeah.
Called and made.
Always the right shot when you make it.
Everything that I think Stuart's going to do, he hasn't done. So I'm going to let him call.
That's why I'm sitting between you two.
Yeah. So the hit and the roll. And see, to me, I would do the draw it there, as opposed to try to hit and roll it there.
See, now as the opposing skip, I'd be looking at this right now thinking, yeah, make that roll right between the 2 blue, because that is there if he hits this wrong.
He wants to be shot.
Yeah, he wants to roll.
Shot, though.
He'd like to sit in front of that blue.
Rock. Well, I don't know if he can. Yeah, but the draw, just the straight draw, would also be an option. But he's got a plan, Joe.
Well, the beauty of this situation, too, for Stuart is it's wide open on the one side. He'll have his draw.
You know what? That's a good point.
You know, the mess is to the side.
Yeah. He's thrown beautiful weight here.
Oh, lovely girl.
Yeah.
Would have liked another 6 inches,
well,
maybe?
and that's where I would say you could draw it there a little more easily than you could hit and roll it there.
Yeah.
And was this ever going to be a factor, right? You're not going to end up with a blank. But he was, for whatever reason, he's more comfortable throwing that shot, so.
It's an interesting game that way, which is the right shot for somebody is the wrong shot for somebody else. And neither one's really wrong.
It just isn't. There's so many options.
So update on sheet B. Allen did score 2 in the 5th end to go up 2-1 on Gibson.
Like you say, been
Oh, wow.
in that game.
Oh, I don't think it's the result they wanted on E. Just played like a triple run back. Got them all moving, but he still left one top 4.
All whether he loses that back one or not.
Yeah.
Stewart's still drawing against at least 3. Now he's going to be drawn against 4. Oh, he's going to use the backing a little bit. Interesting end for sure.
So the other choice here, he could just go with a cold draw. And I guess is what he's comfortable with, neither one
Yeah.
being wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind this. You just broom for the weight that you want to throw, and you're fine.
So going into the fifth end break on sheet C, it's all tied up, 3-3 between Chad Stevens and Kendall. Another important game for this afternoon.
I can't believe this is the end of the 5th end already. It's gone quickly.
That's about an hour 20 for 5 ends. That's about right,
Quick.
isn't it?
Yeah. Well, an hour 20. Yeah, no, they should be. No, that's not super quick, I guess.
Okay.
I look at 15 minutes again. 15 minutes an end is ideal. Oh, no, you've got to be kidding.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, my goodness.
Picked. That's a heartbreaker.
Oh. That is mean-spirited. Oh, that's just heartbreaking.
The cruel game of curling.
Yeah, it's too much work and effort, and to give it up to chance like that, that's a pity. It's a real pity. What a shame.
Okay, but we're in our 5th end break, people. We'll be back in here in 5 minutes.
Oh, right,
Take a
so
little
we
break.
take a break too.
We can take a break.
Okay.
We can get
All right.
another drink, refresh
We'll
ourselves.
see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, what a shame. Oh. And we had a good game going there too. What's that? Just gonna yawn it. Yeah, it's too bad. Well, they may. That's too bad. Well, I'm just sitting back down here. My name is Nancy Delahunt, waiting for my partner Joe. Such a heartbreaking pick there on Stewart's last shot in the fifth end. If you curl long enough, that stuff's going to happen. It does seem to even itself out, but that is just mean-spirited for sure. It's just such a pity. Such an entertaining game. And it's not over, and I still think there's still value in this game. If I were going to speak with Stewart, I would say, you know, you're playing in the afternoon, you can still figure stuff out about the ice and still, even if you can't win the game, come back having sort of called and made the shots that you're looking for. But oh my gosh. Hard to reframe that disappointment in any positive way, that's for sure.
So it bothers me. So I'm here. So it goes through my head. I know if I play my rock earlier, it doesn't mean it's the rock. I play my rock.
Me too.
I actually find it. I want to tell some people.
I know. No. I know Stuart coaches that.
You really got to clean it. I find you have to look.
So the game will probably be a little more open from now on because Jamie's not going to be, you know, taking any chances. He's going to be hitting anything yellow in sight. It is a 6-point deficit. It's going to be a tough one to recover from, especially, you know, against a quality team like Jamie Murphy. 3 perfect shots to start this end.
No, but it needs help now.
This is the one time, well, it doesn't, you don't have to be down, but this is a time certainly where the new 5-rock rule format, you know, comes into an advantage because the team with hammer gets their 2 free corner guards, which up until last year, I think it was the first year for the 5. Joe's back.
You're doing a great job. I'm going to just let you go.
Indeed. But I think, was it last year, the first year for 5-rock?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
What do you think about the 8 ends for all the national events?
Yeah, you know, you hear that argument a lot. I used to be really against 8 ends. I felt that, and maybe it's because that's what I played all those years in championship format, and it was just like that full, you know, novel of a game that if you cut off the first couple chapters, it just wasn't going to be the same. But I gotta say now, with as much curling as there is out there, there's way more curling for players now, especially at the top levels, than in our day. You know, we had Nationals, Worlds, Canada Cup, Continental Cup, but we didn't have, you know, any of the Grand Slam events, really. They were just sort of starting to come on. So having said all of that, back to, I think 8 ends is enough. I think that the game has grown so much, and it's around and on air so much, and players are playing so much in so many places. If I could put a vote in, I would vote for 8 ends. It would have to be everywhere. Of course, the national championships are still all 10 ends. Canada Cup is still 10 ends. World Championships, of course, are 10 ends. Yeah. But if I had a vote, Joe, and answer to your question, I would vote 8. What about you?
As a club curler, throw your boots, whatever you want to play. As a fan, I'd rather see 8 ends than watch 10, especially if the first 2 are going to be.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. Yeah.
We're lucky we get 8 ends in a lot of times. I know Wednesday night, if you have that late draw, we were tired. It's like we're playing 6 ends.
It's true. Yeah. And I mean, let's face it, nobody plays 10 ends now except in championship curling.
Yeah.
You know, when you're playing provincials and national and world events, and at the senior level, of course, it's 8 ends only. So that's my world now. You know, so I only ever play 8 ends, but. Yeah, I used to be against it because I had such respect for the 10-end game, but I get it. I get that.
Does it reward the better teams playing a shorter, like playing the 8-end game over to a 10 game?
That's a good question.
You know,
Does
just
it reward
I don't
the
know.
better
I'm just
teams?
throwing it out there because
I don't think so necessarily. All of a sudden, you know, we always said that, and I think our mojo and our, you know, one of our secrets to success was that we won the 8th, 9th, and 10th ends. Like if you could get our team to the 8th, 9th, and 10th end and be close in a game, we had a really good conversion rate.
Right.
Let's put it that way. So, I mean, it just changes. And now it's the 6th, 7th, and 8th ends that you know. But boy, the 6th end does come a lot more quickly, you know, than the 8th end, I guess. But I don't think it necessarily brings advantage to whatever.
I'm just thinking,
quality
you've
of
just seen
team.
what happened in that last end to Stewart.
Yeah.
In a 10-end game, maybe that's not going to be as heartbreaking. If that happens in an 8-end game, it's done.
Well, for sure. And
Right,
let's face
so-
it, I mean, if it had happened in the first or second end, I mean, they still only have 5 ends. They're down 6. And I mean, it's tough. Let's
Yeah.
face it. I would love to spin some positive encouragement right now, but especially against a team like Jamie Murphy, this is going to be tough sledding. I do, and I said before you came back, Joe, I think there's still advantage if Stewart can, you know, somehow recover from his disappointment. There's still advantage in being out there right now. You're playing the 6th end, you know, and the 7th end, hopefully, of a game that you're going to be playing the 6th and 7th end tomorrow, probably in the afternoon as well. And there's something to learn from what's happening with ice conditions, what's happening to paths, with timing. You can still make good work out of this game, and that's what I would say to them.
We talked about earlier, experience.
Well, that's it.
You're getting experience playing for
you
the
get
top
experience, win or lose. You know, you're going to get experience.
Yeah.
So.
And they are a younger team, too. Stewart's, what, mid-20s?
Definitely, yeah.
So this is how you learn. I think what we talked about earlier about winning Bonspiels, you got to learn how to lose Bonspiels.
Well, for sure. And you lose, you know, in general, I've always said this, and it's true in any sport, you learn way more from your losses than your wins.
Yeah.
This one's not a good example because, you know, if they go on to lose this game, it wasn't anything in their control that caused them to lose this game if they in fact go on to lose it. But generally, I agree totally that if you're smart about the way you analyze your losses, you learn way more from a loss than
I did laugh at that last shot. There were 3 guys all cleaning the ice after the shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that there were a few picks early in the week as well. Again, I haven't been around only yesterday and today, but I did hear that there were a few picks and picks, you guys at home, like, could be anything. It could be just a piece of debris. There's less and less picks without much brush hair out there anymore. But it could be the smallest piece of debris. Sometimes just a flat spot in the ice too. If someone's hand or knee has been on and the ice has melted and it takes the pebble off a particular spot in the ice, and if the rock goes over that, it almost like glue, like it kind of hits a waxy spot, you know, in the ice, and just takes the curl away from it. But my gosh, I haven't recovered from that pick. I can't imagine the guys on the ice. It's tough. I mean, it's just a real kick in the gut.
That was the gripper?
It really is.
I've been told that the gripper is a bit, because they get broken down, they get older.
Definitely, 100%.
The guys should be washing. We should all be washing their grippers every day.
Yeah, and I don't know that washing necessarily is enough. It's not just the dirt. The rubber, little pieces of rubber
Breaks down.
actually come off your gripper. Yeah, you can see them. You can pick them up on the ice.
Yeah. Oh, you look at your gripper, it's worn. Well, where did that rubber go to? It's on the ice, probably.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, grippers can be a real culprit for sure.
I was going to ask you something earlier.
Yeah.
Are ice conditions better now than they were back when you guys were starting to make your run?
Yes, I think. Well, yeah. You mean in an event like this, or
Yeah,
a club?
or even at the,
I don't
the
think,
higher
I'm going
level.
to say club-wise, perhaps not. What I remember, I'll tell you what I remember about club conditions in our day. And again, we played at the time that we played. We didn't play a lot of club curling because we were fortunate enough to be the
At the higher
Team
level.
Canada, and so we were playing in a lot of arena events, in a lot of high-end bonspils and such. And my biggest memory of our club ice conditions is what Dave Jones did for us a couple times a week, 1:30 in the afternoon. He would prepare a sheet of ice for us, and it was prepared as close to arena conditions as you could have. And he was just a gem. You know, we were supposed to pay for it. We paid for it sometimes. Other times he didn't. You know, he just said never mind. And I've always said Dave Jones was one of our fifth players or whatever. He made a difference in the quality of team that we were able to come. So back to ice conditions at Scotty's Tournament of Hearts. I remember having ice conditions that you could not have any better even today. Like, I mean, I remember particular ice in Brandon that it was the exact same from the practice, the pre-game practice, pre-event practice to the final. Like, it literally, I was throwing draw weight that was the exact same. I mean, that just seems like impossible ice making today. So I don't think it's significantly is a change to the point where it's a factor. As I'm watching and listening on TV today, ice conditions are often a challenge, you know, for the players at international and national events. So I don't know if I've answered your question. I think probably at club level.
It gave you something good to go with.
I don't know. It's a lot of words. I don't know if it's really saying anything. But I'm going to say at the club level, there seems to be more interest in making good ice. You know, like I know Taylor works, so he's so interested, and Jean at our club.
Yeah.
They really want to know, okay, is that curling the same way there? Are you getting the same curl inside out and outside in? And so there seems to be perhaps a little more attention, although the great Dave Jones could not have made better ice.
Yeah, it was a huge loss for Mayflower when we lost him.
Yeah.
I think he's coming back. Our ice has been pretty consistent this year.
I think so too. Again, I haven't played games. I've been just practicing, but I even in practice, I've noticed that there's better curl in the
it's nice.
ice for sure.
It's pretty well consistent edge of the 8 for a draw to the button. Some
that's
nights
good.
with our handles, sometimes it's out to the middle of the 12 foot.
Yeah, sure.
So recapping the other games, we haven't done that in a while. Alan O'Leary is now up 3-1 on Gibson on sheet B. Chad Stevens and Kendall Thompson are tied up at 3 on sheet C. And on sheet E, Matt's fighting his way back into it. It's now 4-2, and they're playing in the 6th end for Brent McDougall. So I was talking to Taylor on the 5th end break.
Oh, were you? Yeah.
They're watching the other games too. They're concerned
right.
about the Chad Stevens games, what they're watching. Because they now realize this game's pretty well over.
Yeah, it's hard to put a spin on this game that gives them a chance, really. But
And Houston is only down 4, but it's still.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not done.
I shouldn't.
It's
I
just a
shouldn't
long
say
road.
It's over. Yeah, it is a long road. Anyway, I'd like to see them make some shots.
There you go. Kendall Thompson just made a draw to the button. The score is 1 against 2 blue, so
Nice.
there's a little fist pump on that one.
No kidding.
That puts him up 4-3 after 6 over Chad.
So is this Stuart's last rock?
Yes.
This is Hammer, so he's trying to move this for 2.
Yeah. Line's good. Maybe a
He's
little
got to
thin.
catch an awful big piece of it to move it enough.
I think he did.
I think he did. Well done.
That's a good boost.
Well done.
Once again, thank you very much for supporting junior curling. Today's draw, record-breaking $152.50 to the winner.
Well, and you know the other in terms of bringing some quality out of this game still from Stuart's team's point of view,
And the winning number is?
there's going to be games that you absolutely need to steal the 10th end. Like you need to steal the 10th end. It's a tie game.
Yeah.
that's what I'd be doing right now. I'd be going, okay, guys, you know,
Yeah.
we need to steal this end to win the game. Let's, you know, and there's great merit in practicing making those shots and to try to generate a steal. So there's still value in this game for that team, I think.
Check with the coach. Would you agree with that, coach? Yep.
So, person with the winning ticket can go down to the starter's desk downstairs. You can meet me here.
I mean, I know as a lead, and I try to manufacture this practice at home. So again, just pretend it's a 10th and you're having to steal. I have to throw that high guard, like that's what we choose to do first because it's a harder guard to play the tick shot on.
Yep.
The tighter guard is an easier shot to play the tick shot on. So my shot in this case would be a high guard, not easy to throw, can't be any more than 3 feet over the hog line, but it's got to be over the hog line. And then my next shot will be a tight center guard. That I don't get to practice that often, to be honest. I try to generate that practice myself, an individual practice at the Mayflower at 12 noon, but it's not the same as it would be in this situation. So,
A little deeper than what you would like, but pretty good. The number 2 guard, we could call that?
you know, it's kind of,
About halfway?
yeah, and
Can't tell by-
where do you put your next one, you know? So.
Yeah.
It's pretty intimidating to try to throw a rock just over the hog line.
Hi everyone. We are
Makes for an easy hog.
Well, and I've done that too.
Foundation fundraiser. So first one is.
Yeah, if I was Travis, I'd be, you know, really looking forward to trying to make these guards.
So that expert is here. Come on down to the starter's desk and we will give you your prize. Second prize is for a $50 gift certificate to the curling store. Winner is Stan Thomas. If Stan's here, come on down, get your prize. And then the grand prize, which is 2 full package tickets to the Briar
They put a lot back into the game, the guys at the curling store.
in February.
Yes,
They're giving away
indeed.
prizes
I
here
agree,
now.
Yeah.
You see their
Final prize.
sponsorship at every club, you see.
Okay, so that's a pistol. Well done to Travis. So Travis is Julia's husband, right? That plays lead for Colleen. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Lori. So there's a family of leads, and so Julia is playing with Colleen and Kim. And I'm giving you a shout out. Julia, you're probably actually watching this game. She played outstanding this morning in that win against Jill Brothers for Colleen and Kim. And as a fellow lead, I notice those things, and it makes such a difference in the comfort level for the rest of the players.
What's
So,
their designated
well
club?
done to you. What's that?
What's their designated club? Are they Mayflower?
Oh, Mayflower.
Are they Mayflower?
Yeah.
I know you see them practicing all the time.
Yeah.
But that would make it harder for Jamie to start peeling with that second guard that's there
Definitely,
put up.
and in fact, his blue rock in behind that yellow is providing a little bit of protection as well. Jamie won't like that rock behind the button where he just put it. Stuart will love it, you know. So. And it would be nice to freeze right on this right now, but really anything in front of that and buried, that's okay.
Matt just threw a pistol on Sheedy. He probably only had half a rock to see, but came in
Okay.
with lightweight and took it out, and looked like he's at least half buried,
So
forcing
McDougall's
Brent to the draw.
Draw against 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is interesting because you can kind of get sucked into playing on the yellow rock that's on the tee line. The dangerous rocks at this point are the 2 yellows out front.
He heard
So,
you.
yeah, well,
He
it's so
heard you.
it's so easy to think, oh my gosh, we've got to get rid of the shot rock. But this 100% is the right call, the double peel on these yellows.
So Brent McDougall drew the
Vote on
button.
that, I think he's just got one.
Yeah. Brent drew the button on Sheedy, so he's now
Nice.
up 5-2 on Matt Manuel.
He's still got a long way to go.
Do you risk trying to take both guards out there, or just happy just
Oh, I
take
think
your
he
one?
was trying to get both of them.
You think?
I think.
Where would the shooter have gone, though? It wouldn't have gone far. He'd still been a
but
guard
with that
somewhere.
kind of weight, you just have to, if you can roll your shooter off the 4-foot line, it would be great. I think he was going for both, but I'm not sure, Joe.
Okay.
Because like I said, the yellow is a little bit of a stickler to get out because it could jam back on the blue, but if I were them, I'd be trying to get rid of as many of those front rocks as I could, including the blue one. Yeah, he'll be.
No, this is an easier one to
Yeah,
get
and
rid of both.
all three of them could go now, even that blue. The blue one right now, I don't think Jamie's too crazy about having it there anymore either. So, yeah. Yeah, that's too bad. Because a long guard there would have complicated the send for Jamie. Oh my gosh, I hope the curling gods come back and favor Stewart's team in some way over the weekend. That is just cruel.
I don't know about these curling gods, because sometimes they look down and they smile on you, and other nights they just want to, you know what on you.
But it should even out, shouldn't it?
It should.
Yeah.
I think it does eventually. But I don't know if it's going to happen soon enough for Stewart.
Not in this game. That's what I mean. I don't
Yeah.
mean this game, but as he's got other games to play now.
He'll be
He's
back.
definitely in the playoffs, so maybe
No,
not.
no,
Oh,
no.
oh, his coach is looking
Yeah,
at
oh
me.
yeah. No, because he'll be 4-3.
Oh,
I think you're going to need to be 5-2 to make the
Oh,
playoffs.
sugar. Okay.
So he's losing, so he'd stay 4-3.
So if Manuel loses, he goes to 3-3, and then he's in. Is that right, Lori? He's still in. Okay.
Yeah.
Good we have
Yeah,
help,
because
Joe.
3 teams would be at 4-3, correct? Yeah.
Okay.
And Stewart would get second. Or tied. Then goes, you guys would get, don't know? Okay.
It's complicated.
Yeah, they're not sure on what the
But
exact.
generally, the punchline of that was that if Stewart does go on to lose his game, if Matt Manuel goes on to lose his game, then they're both still alive.
Right.
That's all you need to know.
So status
That's all
quo.
I need to know
If it
as a
finished
player.
right now, there'd be 3 teams tied at 4 with 4 wins, 3 losses. And then NSCA can figure out how they break the tiebreakers.
Well, a team would get, I can tell you, one of those 3 teams would get a bye based on draw to the button, the other 2 would play a tiebreak.
Yeah. So in that case, I think Stewart has the highest total for draw
Yeah, I
to
think
run.
someone was advertising that earlier.
Lori,
Yeah.
should let me know.
So Jamie's done a good job of house cleaning. Not
Okay.
a lot left out front.
I just got a message from Bill McPhee, who's curled with Stewart. 2017, it was a pick to lose the final. In 2018, it was a pick to lose in the semis, and now, Jesus.
You know what? I remember that pick 2 years ago in the final. Yeah. Don't worry, Billy. Don't worry. Like that's it. Three and you're done. It's like Shanks on a golf course. When you have 3, that's it. You're done. Yeah. It's funny how that goes. I know Marianne has a history of a lot of picks in various games as well. So, that is heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking at any time, but it's so much more heartbreaking when it's one of the last shots at the end.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely.
Like you
yeah.
can kind of recover if it's earlier in the end.
Totally,
You fight
totally.
back, last shot,
Yeah.
you're done.
And I mean, what are the chances? What other end was he ever drawing against for? What other end
Yeah.
on his hammer would he have ever given up a huge number? Like that was just Very cruel. Yeah, so they're just looking,
Good.
put a good guard on this and try to steal a point. I mean, they still have life if they can steal 1 point here.
8-5. 3 ends to play. Not.
Indeed. Looks a lot different than
It's
you know,
curling.
we did a couple ends ago. Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
We were playing at our club one night. We had to steal 4 in the last end. And like we're having a debate. Do we keep on playing or not playing? It's like, well, let's play. We had 4 biters.
Oh my.
Bitey just had to draw
Oh,
the rings. We won. He threw it through the house.
something. We have given up a steal of 5 at the Scotties Tournament Hearts. We did. True story. Yeah.
It happens to everybody. It's not like it's going to happen to you.
It was, yeah, I don't really want to remember that, but it was true. Anyway, I think that Stuart guarded the correct side of the stone because, you know,
Yeah, it's going to
if
run.
he'd played the other side. But anyway, so Jamie's got to be careful here. You know, if he ever wicked and rolled off, Stuart could be sinking another one in to sit 2. So he's
If he-
got to be careful. You
If he
know,
really needed the points, he could play a little more weight at this and try to bump it maybe.
sure. Yeah.
If he needed the points. But
Sure.
he doesn't need the points. He just wants to make sure of
But
his
bottom
one.
line, he's still got to pay attention here. You know,
Yeah.
like he has to pay attention and keep making shots.
You have to curl a little bit more. I think it's going to be okay if he has the weight. Yeah. So score 1.
No, there's still.
Oh, it's another
rocks
rock?
yet.
2 more? I'm ahead of myself? Yep.
Well, this is tough.
Where does Stewart go now?
Well, you can draw the out turn, but then he's got an easy jack back on the blue. I could try to do that. That was a really nice shot by Jamie. Clearly, he has not lost his focus.
I don't know about the button. Button sets up a double. I would think, wouldn't it? They just have to run back that blue.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to cross it. And could he ever sit 2? It's almost like that shot the other end where we were wondering, I wonder if he could possibly, if he catches with just back 4 weight, jiggles over. Bruce, do you think he can sit 2 after this, possibly? I don't know. I guess we'll
I think he'd have to
wait
move
and
that.
see.
He'd have to move that top blue.
But you just need to
to the
kind of
left.
nudge it sideways,
Yeah.
right? Like if you can kind of nudge it sideways back so that it's just biting a piece of the 8-foot. Okay, he's changed his mind. Doesn't think it's there. Doesn't look good from the hack. Yeah, because he has to cross it, and there is a guard out there after all.
Club curling with a bad handle.
Yeah.
That shot would be there
Yeah.
to bump that. This level? No.
Yeah, so he's just looking for just barely enough to get shot rock. Because if he goes back too far, then Jamie can push his blue one on the left-hand side there back.
No more than even with that blue rock.
That would be perfect,
Yeah.
as long as he's shot, yeah. Gotta be shot, though. Looks good. Oh, it doesn't want it. Oh! Do you know what I wonder?
I
if
think
could
he
have
might be
gotten
shot, though.
2 coming at it that way.
It's awful
He's
close.
definitely shot. If you look at the red behind the
Yep.
yellow, doesn't it look like
Yep.
it's shot? Yeah.
If the angle's right.
Yeah. Although I tell you, yesterday we were doing this broadcast and everybody was wrong about it.
Well, the
You can
camera's
see
not
it on the
perfect.
big screen there. It's definitely blue. Yeah.
The best he could do out of it.
Oh, I
You
think
know?
so too. I think so too. So Well, what an interesting end, really. There's the overhead on it right there.
Yeah.
So I think Jamie's just trying to tap
Tap his own cap.
the blue up, not taking any yellows out, although he can just tap that blue, run it into the back yellow, and still get shot, I think. Why don't we wait and see what happens?
You mean we could be wrong?
Oh,
We could?
odds are.
The line looks good. It just needs that weight. Doesn't get to tap it very far.
It's over curling a little bit. Oh, he got
Yeah,
it.
just
Nice
enough.
shot. That's nice playing by Mr. Murphy, I must say. He's a good curler. So just for one. Well, I can tell you this, 3 is never out of the picture, especially with the 5. Stewart is, thankful for the rule change. At least he gets 2 corner guards here. 3 is very much in play with the new 5-rock rule, for sure.
Jamie's going to bring this house because guards are not his friends right now.
100%, yeah. Yeah, nobody throws the rocks through the house anymore, I don't think. Maybe in the 10th end, but...
Club level we would at this point. Basically a signal to the other team, we beat you, we're done. I want to go home. You're going hard on it though. He doesn't want this high.
Oh my goodness, you certainly wouldn't want a guard right now.
I think it's in. Scott letting the 2 older guys do it.
Yeah, that's
Now, who's
good.
the older, Scott or Jamie? They're around the same age, I would think, aren't they? So update from sheet B. Allen scored 1 in the 7th end, so he's now up 4-1 on Andrew Gibson. Lots of rocks in play on sheet C.
Yeah, what is
Kendall's
going
still
on
up
there? This is an important
4-3.
game. Yeah.
Very important. Kendall's looking.
Kendall's up 4-3 without hammer.
Chad's throwing his first, and he has
Looks
the
like he's
hammer.
in a bit of trouble. Looks like a lot of yellow down there, or is there a blue in behind? Anyway, tight game on sheet C.
Yeah.
That's being broadcast as well, I believe. So Jamie's going to put the second one in play as well. And again, it probably goes back to my roots, but I don't see how these, especially the second blue rock, is going to help Jamie in any way, I guess.
Where would you put that? You like that there?
I would throw it through.
You throw it
I
through?
would throw it through. Definitely, that didn't, I mean, if that ever staggered just a little more than that, it becomes a lovely pair
Pocket.
of guards
Yeah.
for the
Reverse
famous,
guards.
back to the famous Briar that Mark Deasy scored 4 against Randy Furby, and it got started. The rocks weren't quite there, but it was a similar situation. I mean, I get it. What they're saying is you're eventually going to have to deal with both of these blue rocks before you're going to score anything that goes behind your corners. You know what I mean? They're saying, I'm going to make it harder for you to score those rocks that are behind your corners. So I get it.
Two nice shots from Travis.
Indeed.
Exactly where you wanted them.
Yeah. Those Coulters are good curlers.
Does Stewart come in here? Does he throw up
I think
another
he's going
corner?
to start dealing with this a bit, like
Getting
pushing
too messy?
stuff back. Yeah, or freeze right into something, but he's going to do something with these blues. And And you want a little bit of weight here just to start pushing stuff back. I mean, they've still got 6 rocks to come, the yellows. Still have 6 rocks to come. And without a doubt, they've got 3 in their eyesight. I mean, that's what their goal is this end. So they need to push a couple rocks back here. There it goes.
Perfect.
And Jamie's not going to be fooled into playing into the house at this point. Without a doubt, the guards are still the danger shots for creating multiple scores if you're Stuart Thompson.
He's going that way.
See, now for Stuart, to me, he's got lots of... Like, if you were Stuart right now, would you rather those blue rocks be here or not be here?
Right now,
Yeah, if you were Stuart. Would you rather that there just be just the 2 yellow rocks there and
the
nothing else?
ideal thing, I don't know, does he have the angle? I would like to get rid of that middle blue and sit on top of the one that's kind of more to the side.
Right.
Have 2 dead frozen.
But my point is,
Yeah.
like, do you think that Stuart would rather have those blue rocks
No,
there or not?
the way these guys can clean house, I think I'd rather have them.
Have them. So
Yeah.
that's my point.
Yeah.
So then you're kind of happy that Jamie threw them in there. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, and I really don't know, folks. I'm not trying to pretend that there's one way to do this for sure. But
If it works, it's right. If it doesn't work,
I
it's wrong.
guess, and I guess if I were Jamie right now, I'd be going, gee, I wish that blue one wasn't right there behind the yellow guy, right? But anyway, it does complicate. It takes the corner guard away, is what it does, for sure. And that's what's happened here. You know, Stuart's playing in the 4-foot.
Which one do you hit here? Did you hit the one on the center line? Or you hit the one on the
Something
left?
hard. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that strategy. Hit it
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
I think hitting the middle one, I think, a little better.
Paul's got a lift. I thought Kim Kelly was the only player that still had a lift in the ice shed. I forgot about Paul.
Chad was lifting the other night.
Was he?
Yeah.
Interesting. It was a tough double because they were just in a funny place. I think he actually had to hit this other one first. Yeah, I like that call.
Freeze to the room.
I do. Yeah. You can't get rid of any yellows if he freezes that way. Well, yeah, no, because he can't. Unless he can jam that blue back this way, but I don't think he can. I think the corner guard's in the way.
He might be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like there's probably almost 4 inches to the line.
I just think if I were Stuart, I'm just so happy to have the protection of those 2 blue rocks right now. Now, mind you,
Yeah, he's
they
gonna
are
have to deal
sitting
with them
1
at some
and
point.
2, so he can't score without moving them eventually. But
So update from E. Brent just scored 2 in the 7th
okay.
to go up 7-2.
so that's not the best news for Matt Manuel, but it's good news for Stuart Thompson.
Yes, it's there. It's where you're in the lead, but it's there.
Look, he's just playing that front one and he wants to push it back.
Gonna push the front blue back.
Look, he tapped like he wants to get a roll over to the 4-foot line on this side.
Huh.
Was that the right call, Laura? I kind of missed that. Even the coach
Playing
wasn't
some
paying
sort
attention.
of weight
that
at
one.
it because it's not a lot of ice, so
Yeah.
that's at least hack weight, I'd say.
Yeah, because that's
many options, my goodness, in this crazy sport.
I don't know if I like this one.
You like this call?
No, I don't think I do. I just think if he gets the roll to where he wants to, it's going to set up a double, maybe?
Well, the 2 blues would be right behind the yellows, though.
Yeah, it has to be.
But I don't know why he couldn't have just, again, drawn the rock there.
That's not bad.
You know, but yeah. Definitely you can get rid of all the those 2 yellows now. Yeah, I liked Colton, I think, was the one to point out the freeze on the yellow. That should go behind it, I think. It might clip the back of it, but... Maybe.
I don't think they can get rid of it.
You don't think they can?
No, I think if they hit it, it's going to hit that blue to the in the 8 foot and come back on the back blue.
I mean, it depends how thick they hit it, but...
Yeah.
No.
I kind of see it hitting that blue that's
Yeah.
over in the 8,
Yeah,
then coming back on the...
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
I forgot about the jam back here. Well, again, if you're Murphy, how happy are you with the blue rocks right now?
Well, let's see what happens.
I would just think this is a tougher shot where it's a run back trying to make that hole. If he was just shooting at the one rock to get through, it might be a little easier, maybe?
For sure.
You think?
I do. It's on the high side of this. Yeah, they went easy. Yeah. He just hit it so thin it just went behind it. So now Jamie's sitting first, second, and third. Stuart's definitely going to be looking to try to bring this yellow into count,
which is fourth
somehow. But you know what? Jamie's still not out of the woods. He makes a nice shot here. You know, Jamie's got a decision to make. Do I hit the open one?
Yeah.
Or
Give
do
him
I
his
try
deuce.
to, freeze down or play some... It's a very interesting end. There must be other provincial playdowns going on this weekend. Do you know, Joe? Like what? In New Brunswick, PEI?
I was talking to John earlier, and he said a lot of them are next week.
Next week, okay.
But I didn't look.
I meant to look at the women because oftentimes you can watch like the Manitoba and Saskatchewan and Ontario.
It's a really good curling day when that happens.
Oh, he would have left a little more roll there. But there's a lot of curling on TV this time of year.
So if I can Google and find out.
Oh, just a 3 inches more roll. Just gonna play the run back. I guess he feels that it's easier than the pick. In fact, he must not be able to see much of this. No, he cannot see much of that. So
Run back?
the run back, there's more room, there's more margin on the run back. 'Cause I would think he'd throw some pretty solid weight here. He doesn't want that yellow to catch the back blue and stay in play, that's for sure. It might touch it, but if he's throwing weight, he'd have to get pretty lucky for it to stay in the rings.
Perfect.
Lovely shot. That's a real nice shot. Left himself sitting really nice as well.
Okay, I'm not looking at every province of BC is next weekend. Who's strong in BC now? Who will Marianne be competing with next year?
Pardon me?
If she doesn't come here.
Oh, for women?
Yeah.
You know, BC hasn't had strong women teams. I mean, there were the Kelly Law days and the Kelly Scott days.
Yeah.
But there hasn't really been a contending women's team, I don't think, since then. The men had, I love the guy who wears the hat.
Jim.
Yeah, and John Morris skipped for him for a while.
What's his last name? I can see him.
Some of the people are rolling their eyes at home.
I know he was here for the Worlds too, because he was representing Team Canada.
Yeah. Starts with C, I think.
Cotter.
Cotter.
Yeah.
So what have we got here? What do you think they're playing
Hit and rolls.
here?
Try to get a bite the button.
Okay. You know what? That's what he was playing. Just try to hit, stay in the rings, get rid of two blues. That was an outstanding shot.
Yeah.
Sadly, he won't probably be too rewarded for it if Jamie hits and stays here. Best he can get is one, but that was a very smart call. He was making the best with what he had left.
I noticed the experience of the Murphy team. All three of them were sweeping the ice
Yeah, no
as Jamie
kidding.
went down.
Yeah.
It's not the first rodeo.
No, indeed. And it is the details. I was mentioning that yesterday afternoon as well. It is the smallest of details that do separate teams. You know, meat and potato shots and just attention to detail. Great throw. Don't think that doubles there. There's so much distance. Yeah, you know what? That's the only way to make this, is to play a double off your own yellow and jam it back, yeah. Do you think it's there, Bruce? Do you think that hitting, what do you need, about half a rock? A little less? A quarter less, but, okay. It'll be fun to see. I hope he makes contact to see if the angles are even correct. Yeah, make or shake. Coach Laurie says it's make or shake. Oh. I don't think. That's really thin the other way. Oh my gosh, it'd be so exciting if he made this and they'd only be down 3 without hammer. But it would be a nice positive twist for sure.
I think he needs to go over the top with the rock that he's hitting. Hit it and hope it sticks.
He's just wicking off. He's just wicking off this yellow, bing, boom, like that.
But I think if he hits it too thick.
Can't hit it too.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were calling this right now, I'd be just looking at wicking and sticking back here. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would have been nice to see if the angles were there. Well, that was such an anticipated matchup, and the teams really played so well.
Yeah, one pick and turned around that whole game.
It was circumstances beyond anyone's control that decided that game.
So the final would be 11-4 for Jamie Murphy.
Yeah, they did finish the end, so those points would go on the board.
Well, thank you, Nancy. That was fun.
It was a pleasure.
Pleasure meeting you. Until we both curl at Mayflower. I'll put you on my spare list if I need to spare something. I'm going to call you. All right, you come out and play some cub curling with us.
Right on. Well, let's make sure you guys stay in touch with the happenings here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. There's always 2 games broadcast. Well, there'll be 2 games tonight broadcast, and the curling is even better in person. So come on down to the Dartmouth Curling Club should you choose.
I'm now headed over to Sheet C.
Oh, are you?
John was feeling lonely. He wanted somebody to help him.
Oh, well, over and out to you.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, right. Bye. That'll be good and important, too, right? Oh, that was fun.
That was good.
Yeah. they're back
Pretty well
together.
behaved that one. That man was. It's